Hello everybody, this is going to be our race line tutorial video for the Advanced Legends at North Wilkesboro. Um, this track is um, it's it's one of those tracks where you have to be easy on and easy off the throttle. Now, that may be depending on setup. However, I found that the lighter or smoother you can get off and on, the better you're going to be. So, like we always do, we're going to start from the pits. We're going to do an out lap. We'll run 5 race laps, and then we'll go back and go over the points to look for. So, here we go. Okay, so there's 5 race laps. As you can see, my qual lap, if you will, is going to be a 20.5. The rest are 7s, and then when I get to about lap 10, 11, 12, we drop into the 8s. As you can see, it is, um, once you get into a rhythm, it is, I don't know, fairly easy to get consistent, but you will notice, like I said, after 10, 11, 12 laps, the tires will fall off. So, starting from the start finish line, we crossed at right at 99 miles an hour in 4th gear. The first thing we're going to look for is this white square right here. We're going to run along the wall. We're going to keep our hood pin on the outside of these lines. And as we approach this white square right here, we're going to start our turn in, and we should be crossing about the Lowe's sign. So we're going to follow the wall. Again, we're going to ride that wall. We get to about this white box right here. We're going to start our turn in. We should be off the throttle by the time we come up to the Lowe's sign. And we're going to take just a nice gradual arc down here. If you try to turn in too soon, you're going to slide the tires, and you'll definitely know when you're doing so. The car just will not turn, and you'll hear it. So as we take our gradual turn in, we're going to look for this seam, this crease right here. So I want to try and get this hood pin to kind of follow this line. So as we turn down, Again, you can see the wheel. We're not turning so sharply, again, that we slide the tires, but we're turning just enough to get the car to rotate down because this is a long swooping corner. So when we get to this line, like I said, we're going to just kind of follow it along the best we can. And you'll notice this little where the white painted line kind of goes from a steady curve to a flat spot. That's going to be our next reference point. So once we get to this flat spot and we pass it, we should be about half throttle. Once we pass there, we're going to start driving out and going up towards the wall. So as you can see, by about the time we hit Holly Farms right here, we're 100% throttle, driving out of the corner. We're not going to try to stay along this line anymore. We're going to try, well, we have to start to drift and drive out towards the wall so we're not losing any more speed. So once we get out onto the track, you can see the wheels starting to come around and straighten it out. We should be parallel with the wall. Right here at this first Union 400 sign. So as we go down the straightaway, our next reference point again is going to be this yellow, I can't remember what it says right now, but this yellow orangey mark and the Lowe's sign. So again, we're going to try to ride along the wall as close as we can, keeping our hood pin along the outside of these dash lines. We're going to follow it around. We're going to start our turn in. Holly Farms again, or Holly Farms again. So again, we're going to start our turn in. When we come up to this, we should be crossing right about Lowe's. So we're going to turn in at Lowe's, and again, we're going to keep a steady turn. We're not, cranking down to get to the curb. We're going to do a nice steady turn down, and when we cross this next set of dashed lines is where we're going to let off the throttle. So the hood pin should come between the second and third mark. We split them, and we're coming off the throttle. Again, we're going to try to get down to the curb as close as we can. However, if you can find this line right here, that's a pretty good line. So again, we're completely off the throttle, maintaining this curve. Again, look, the wheel's not cranked too much. We're about the same spot as we were going into one. And we're going to come down, and here's this crease I was talking about. We're just going to ride this crease. We're going to start to pick up the throttle when we get to Goodyear. Again, we're rolling into it. As you can see, very, very slow roll in. And when the grass stops right here, you can get on the throttle pretty aggressively. And we're going to drive out to the wall. We're going to straighten up as much as we can. You'll hear it in the tires. You want to straighten the wheel as quickly as you can. Get parallel to the wall again here at Holly Farms, right here. And we should cross the start-finish line at 96 and run our 20.539. So one more time, a little quicker. We're going to stay our hood pin on the outside. We get to that white box. We're going to start our turn in. When we cross at Lowe's, we're going to be completely off the throttle. We're going to come down. We're going to try to get our hood pin to follow this line right here. And if I remember right, I don't get down that far on this lap. We're close. We start to pick up the throttle. Here's our flat spot right here. We can get on the gas. Once we hit that spot, we're going to start to straighten the wheel as quickly as we can. We're going to drive out to the wall. We should be pretty parallel to the wall when we get to first Union 400, if not a little sooner. There we are again. Try to keep our hood pin on the outside of those lines, looking for the next Holly Farm sign in the lows. Start our turn in. When we get to Holly Farms, again, we should be crossed it by lows. I'm a little late here, but when we get to this next sign or this next line, our hood pin should be crossing somewhere between the second and third mark. Again, I was a little late to turn in, so I'm late here, but we are off the throttle. We're going to try to come down to this first line, let it roll the corner until we get to Goodyear. But this lap was just boshed bad. So this is not a good example. But we are at Goodyear. We've started our throttle intake again. And I'm just going to do the best I can at this point to keep it off the wall. But we got to the end of the grass. We're going to pick up the throttle 100%. We're going to straighten the wheel as quickly as we can to prevent any tire scrub and loss of speed. And those are laps for North Wilkesboro. This track will take a lot of laps to get it down, but it can be done. I've just recently been able to get into the mid to low 20.5s. So there you have it. That is North Wilkesboro for the Advanced Legends.